Thanks a lot, Liam. How's it going, Dave? You okay?
Yeah, good, thanks, Dom. You?
Yeah, very well, thank you. I guess let's get started. How's the first week or so been for you in charge of Stockport? It's been a busy one.
Very busy, really enjoyable. Lots of I suppose good work being done on the training pitch. Finding my feet in terms of resources I have available to us. So it's been great, been really enjoyable.
How do you feel that the team have been responding to you over the two matches you've had so far and your thought processes?
I'd love to have won them both, but we've not lost them, so that's a positive. Like I say, I think especially Saturday showed more glimpses of what potentially we're going to be, or what we're going to try to evolve into in terms of having more control in the game. We'll try and do that again on Wednesday, but again against really good opposition, so there's no bigger test of how far we've come in a small time, but ultimately it's a cup tie, a tie that we want to do what it takes to try and progress, but there's been some really pleasing signs, and hopefully over the coming weeks we'll continue to get better and get more of an identity about ourselves.
I mean, the first game at the Unibowl was a cracker, great atmosphere as well. To get that back to your home ground in front of your home fans, how excited are you?
Yeah, really excited. It'll be a special occasion certainly for Mark and for Simon, and for all the work they've done in the last sort of few years to get the club built up. What you want to do is hopefully have some really big, exciting games, and for the ground to be sold out. There's no bigger occasion and bigger opportunity for us, and hopefully we'll do everybody justice on the pitch, and give ourselves a shot at causing a cup upset and get ourselves through to that next round.
Do you have to do much work in the way of motivation for a night like this?
Not really. It's more just reminders to players of what we expect of them. I suppose at times you do potentially have to motivate a little bit, but most players are very motivated, some by different things. But what you want to do as a footballer is play in big games in front of big crowds, with lots of jeopardy but opportunity on the line, and we've certainly got that in abundance on Wednesday. So it adds up to what hopefully could be a good night for us, but from a player's perspective, a really good opportunity to go and play in an environment that doesn't happen every week, with a prize at the end of it that you don't get every week.
And what did you take from the first game against Bolton? Any surprises that you'll now sort of be a bit more prepared for, or anything you noticed?
No, not really. We got what we expected, a good side that are very good in possession, are expansive in terms of players that they commit up the top end of the pitch, but will take risks and leave themselves a little bit open. So obviously 2 goals for each team. I'm sure there will be opportunities to score on Wednesday. Hopefully we take more than what they do, but we're expecting exactly the same. Another tough game. We'd watched them 2 or 3 games prior to going into Sunday. I went to the game on Friday against Crewe to have another look. So we know about them. We know what they can do. Stopping it is the challenge, and us, I suppose, imposing what we want to do on the game becomes the important part.
We spoke about the team, but for you yourself, do you thrive on nights like these, under the lights, big crowd, big atmosphere?
I think we all do, don't we? It's as much as we're a bit of a glutton for punishment, if you like, in the fact that there is lots of jeopardy. It's a huge adrenaline rush, emotional game that football is. There are massive highs and there are massive lows. This gives the opportunity of the highest high, if you like, and ultimately lows if you don't progress and you don't win. But they are the games you want to be involved in. We must be mad to do it at times, and mad to say that's the case. But no, there could be, like I say, no bigger chance or opportunity for us on Wednesday. A brilliant atmosphere in front of the TV cameras. I'm really looking forward to it.
and on your radio station as well. Cheers, Dave. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dom. Sam Byrne.
Hi, Dave. Thanks for talking to us.
Hi, Sam.
Firstly, just wanted to touch on Saturday and really, I suppose, how the players are bouncing back from that bit of a sickener in the last minute, and a word on you can in particular on how Liam Hogan's shaping up as well after Saturday. Yeah,
listen, it's tough, but that's football. I've said we all are desperate to win. What you have to do is control the controllables. There's loads of variables. I think we couldn't have done much more in terms of the performance we produced, the control we had in the game, the opportunities we created. If you have to be critical, we need to take more of those opportunities. The game should be done, and then you're not in a position where you are a little bit edgy in the last couple of minutes, especially as the team that on the day we've managed really, really well. They've not had an attempt on target, and then we give them an opportunity to put the ball in our penalty area, and results in the mistake that happened, and the ball's in your net. So it's tough. Listen, I'd not, because of the nature of the goal and not really seen it, and didn't know that it happened as it happened, if you like. But you have to move on. Football it's one of those things where, again, we spoke about adversity. That's adversity. So Hogs is fine. You get out your system as quickly as you can. He's got players around him and staff around him that will support that. Unfortunately, as a defender, as a goalkeeper, you make mistakes, and most of the time, or a lot of the time, mistakes that you may end up with the ball in your net. That's I suppose a hazard of being someone who plays at the back. I've been there. What it does is makes you stronger, makes you better for it, and he'll be much better for that.
Yeah, you alluded on Saturday to the fitness of your side, and I suppose that goes hand in hand with the intensity that you're looking to bring to the side. Is the fitness of the group something that's on your radar in terms of whether that needs to improve going forwards? Are you happy with where they're at already?
Yeah, not so much. It's not so much fitness. Different type. They're going to be challenged to do different things, like I say, in terms of the intensity we work at, which some are in, and some have been asked to do that before, and others haven't. So some are in different places, and it very position specific. So you look at what we need from a centre back or a central midfielder will be different than what we're looking for from a wing back, if you like. So there will be different challenges. They can all improve, and they will all improve, because we've set down a marker, if you like, that we're going to train like that every single day. So that will help us, and I think you'll see significant improvements and significant differences over time. It's not going to flick a switch. It's not going to happen overnight. It's a gradual thing that we need to work on. But there were signs on Saturday, if you like, that we're already moving forward, and hopefully that'll continue.
I just wanted to touch on the squad that you've got available. So you alluded in your first week in charge to having players out on loan that are currently unavailable to you. Is it a case of waiting for those deals to expire, or can you bring any of them back, the likes of Jamie Stotts, Tom Walker, Elliot Newby? And if not, is it potentially a case of looking to strengthen sooner rather than later in certain areas?
Yeah, they're all different, to be fair. Again, going through the different loan deals, some have recalls, others don't have recalls. There's people out that we can affect. We've just got to, I suppose, judge it based on where we're at, and if we need to do anything in the short term, then I'm probably pretty comfortable that we can if we need to. But it's about strengthening the squad, and maybe giving the squad a little bit more balance. We know where we've probably got an overload of players in certain positions, and we need to correct that, because ultimately what we need is everybody, I suppose, motivated that if there's a loss of form or injury, that they're potentially going to get an opportunity, get a chance themselves. We're not really at that place at the moment, and it's important that we try and control that if we can, to give us options and give us competition in all areas, not just be overloaded in certain ones.
I just wanted to touch quickly on two players that you do have at the club that supporters have kind of maybe felt like prior to your arrival they were on the fringes of the squad a little bit, and that's Arjan Reiki and Will Fish. is it fair to say they have that clean slate now that you're here? And given that they're both on season-long loans, do you anticipate opportunities for them to get minutes in the squad?
Yeah, I chatted with Arj and with Will. I think for them to, especially as young players that are coming on loan in from Premier League clubs, it's been first loans for them. You get different things from it. The thing that for me was speaking to them around them potentially getting opportunities and taking them opportunities. I think how we want to play and our identity on the pitch will or should suit both of those two. And they've really got to be sticking their head above the parapet and saying, I can do the job you need me to do in a certain position. And for them to ultimately put themselves forward and say, I'm the person to play in that position. So Will, for example, if you look at, we're going to ask our defenders, our central defenders, wide of a three, whatever it might be, to get on the football and be comfortable in possession. That's something that suits him down to the ground in terms of the upbringing that he's had at Man United. Arj, again, technically, really, really good player. Probably when they've had their opportunities, whether it be because of the team not doing as well, again, have tended to struggle a little bit, and that sometimes happens with young players. You do get up and downs in terms of performances, but as you say, it's a clean slate for them. They have a real opportunity to push themselves forward, and they'll be in control of that in terms of how they train and when the chances do come for them, if and when, that they take them.
Yeah, just finally then on Wednesday, in terms of your squad availability, just two players I wanted to touch on. So you firstly got Macaulay Southern Hales available for the first time under yourself here, someone you know from your time at Hartlepool, and also Anthony Sarcevic, someone who it probably goes without saying he'll be really fired up to come up against his old side. How are those two looking ahead of the game, and in general, how's your squad looking in terms of the availability?
Yeah, the squad pretty much, I suppose, picks itself in terms of nine subs. We've got a couple carrying little niggles that we'll have a look at. But obviously, Sarce came back in at the weekend and was really good in terms of physical output, physical data, what he gives us. Technically, like you say, for him, big game, probably a little bit extra motivation, point to prove a little bit. So again, he'll be, and we'll thrive in that environment. Obviously, friends at Bolton that he'll want to get one over. So he'll be, like I say, looking forward to it more than most. And obviously, Maka, again, situation, unfortunately, obviously suspended. Probably a thing that he maybe needed, because I think psychologically sort of affected him a little bit with the incident with the Barnet game, and maybe like I say, a couple of weeks out of the team has allowed him to sort of move on from that. But I know what he can bring us, having worked with him before, and he'll be a really important player for us this season. So great to have him back and give us further options down that right hand side.
Just last one from me then, Dave. How do you, as the manager, look after the group? I suppose, given that Wednesday night probably going to be a really tiring night for the group, and then to go straight into Woking with a pretty long trip, almost straight on the back of Wednesday night.
Yeah, it's tough. It's like I say, a week that has a little bit of uncertainty around how you go about things. There's the potential of extra time and all those things, and like I say, to back that up with a tough away trip on Saturday is going to be a difficult one. But things are set to sort of test you. There'll be no excuses. We're looking to win on Wednesday, and regardless of what happens on Wednesday, we'll be looking to win on Saturday. So if we need to mix things round in terms of the squad, so be it. But fingers crossed we can go into both games, pick our strongest team, or a team that we think can win the game, and try and get a really positive outcome over the next 4 to 5 days. It doesn't get any easier. You're tested constantly in this league regardless. We've Saturday, Tuesdays coming up, and fundamentally it's about getting points. So we need to do what's required. We'll obviously, between Wednesday and Saturday, there won't be a great deal of training's done, it will be about recovery and ultimately going and trying to win 2 big games for us.
Thanks a lot, Dave, and good luck on Wednesday.
Thanks, Sam.
Cheers, Sam. Tyrone.
Hi, Dave.
Hi, Tyrone.
You've been back and you've been in the club a couple of weeks now. I'm just wondering sort of what you've made of the structures in place off the pitch and how they're set up for success and how that sort of compares to your experience previously at this level. It feels like a club that everyone's sort of pointing in the same direction now.
Oh, listen, in terms of the off-the-pitch stuff, I said, on the pitch, you've got to try and control things you can control. There are so many variables over 90 minutes of a football match that over the course of a season, it's enormous and you can't control them. The stuff that happens off the pitch is a different kettle of fish, and all those factors are massively controlled. The club, the infrastructure is, as you say, is set up to be successful. We've got to make sure that the on the pitch stuff mirrors that and they move forward as closely as possible. But everything is set up in terms of what we need as a management team, as players, to go and allow us to focus on the difficult bit, which is winning on the football pitch. And I'm confident, like I say, over time that we can really kick on and really do that and make this season a successful one.
Is it about fulfilling that potential that's clearly in place there? I guess what's happening off the pitch has opened up some potential on the pitch that's there to be fulfilled.
It does. It does open it up, and it is fulfilling that. Like I say, the investment in the infrastructure gives you the best chance, and that's all you can ask for. It really, like I say, does allow us to focus, being out on the grass with the players, putting plans in place that best control the outcome of winning. That's the hard bit, but that's the bit or the reason why we do it, and it's the reason that special nights and special games are the ones that give you the big buzz. Hopefully at the back end of the season, take Wednesday out of it, at the back end of the season we've got some really big games with lots on them, and like I said before, lots of jeopardy, and we can be or achieve what the objective has been from the start of the season, really.
And just last one on the fans, obviously a sellout on Wednesday night. You know, you've played and captained this club as well previously. The fan base around this club when it's been doing poorly and now when it's doing well is massive, isn't it? And I guess it adds up to that feeling that there's a real sort of feel good factor around the place at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. And as I said, I think the off the pitch stuff really has given the fan base and the people around the club has given that optimism and given that feel good factor. We've got to make sure the feel good factor remains by the performances we put on the pitch. Like I said, we've got to have a team out there that the supporters associate with and understand that no matter what happens, what are the minimum requirements you're going to get from the players and from the staff, and I think we'll do that. And when you combine that with the ability we have within the group and the ability to add to the group if we need to, if things go in our favour and we along the way get a little bit of luck and have things go your way, then definitely something special can be achieved. Thanks, Tyrone.
Thanks, Tyrone. John T, do you want to come in?
Hi Dave, you okay?
Hi, John T.
So you highlighted on it earlier about the importance of staying positive throughout the match. Just how key is that throughout the whole 90 minutes to keep a positive mindset, even if you are leading, if you're losing, to keeping at it?
No, absolutely, and I think that goes hand in hand with off the pitch as well. I spoke and we had a chat with the players around what we expect and what we want from each other, and even from Saturday, going in front, we really wanted to go on and get another goal and go and really win the game and still be on the front foot. I think, in fairness, a natural reaction for players is that once you maybe are in front is to be a little bit more safe, and ultimately safe isn't always getting people behind the ball, and we paid the price for that, so there'll be a learning experience within that. But there are going to be bumps in the road. throughout the course of a season, throughout the course of 90 minutes, there'll be times when things don't go in your favour, whether that's a goal against you, whether that's a referee, whatever it might be. Things aren't smooth in football. That's the reason everybody loves the game, and at times the reason everybody hates the game. So expect that. Ultimately, we're going to be judged, whether it be over 90 minutes or over 44 games or whatever it is. Where you are at the end of the season is the important bit. But we want to try and stay as positive as we can. It's difficult because we're all very emotional, and when you concede a goal, I'm at the side pulling my hair out, and just as when we scored a goal, I'm jumping around like a lunatic, just as all the supporters are. But as best as we can, can we take a responsibility on the pitch to keep the supporters in the game? Can the supporters understand that we're doing everything we can and we all have the same objectives at the end of it?
And the word belief is a key word in a competition such as the FA Cup. Just how much belief have the players taken from that first leg, the performance they put out there?
Yeah, they should have taken an awful lot from it, because I think we're not going to be tested as much, certainly in our own league against teams at our own level. So to go and pit your wits against a club and a group of players that are playing 2 divisions higher at this current time, and hold your own, granted, in difficult circumstances, and knowing what the other team are about, you have to take huge belief from. We've got to replicate that and do it better than what we did last Sunday, regardless of us being at home with a home crowd at our backs. Ultimately, on the pitch, we've got to deal with their 11 players just as they've got to deal with us.
And tying into the crowd, how important is a quick start on a night where you're going to have all the cameras on the big crowd? How important is a quick start?
It would be great. Like I say, there's no, I suppose, quicker way of taking the air out of a balloon than not starting well. So we want to start on the front foot. We want to keep the crowd in the game, and that involves us being on the front foot and us hopefully not letting Bolton dictate to us, although we know that they're very good at that. So if we need to defend, and we will have to defend at times, make sure we do that properly, but always pose a threat going the other way. Like I say, we're not just concerned with stopping what they do. We've got to impose our style on it and what we want to do in the game, because if we don't do that over the course of 90 minutes, that becomes a long time, and the best way for us to go and win the game, in my opinion, is for us to be on the front foot and try and take the game to them.
And finally from me, what do you think a victory like this in a cup run could do for your league form and your confidence going back into the league?
I think it absolutely helps massively. Just in terms of confidence, in terms of teams that we're coming up against, in terms of, you look at again progression. The draw doesn't come any easier as it goes along. Even if you do progress, so for us it's about putting a run together and winning football matches, and that doesn't really matter what competition that comes in. You build belief and you build optimism based on winning, and if we can continue to win games and combine and mix that between FA Cup and League, then I think we'll be in a very good place.
Cheers, Dave. Good luck on Wednesday.
Thank you.
Thanks, John. Gary?
Hi, Dave, you alright?
Hi, Gary, okay?
Yeah, good, thank you. Just a bit that you touched on it before about how fired up and motivated Anthony Sasevich will be. Is it important that he doesn't let it get the better of him? And when you were a player yourself, you would have faced bigger games that you were more up for than in the past. How easy or difficult is it to keep a level head in a game you're so fired up for?
Again, I think everyone's individual. It's probably easier for some characters over others. Sauce ain't particularly the type of player that plays on the line, if you like, and maybe that the game takes him over that line. He's not that type of player. But ultimately, listen, we've all been there when, whether it be a previous club, a previous manager, somebody that you've either fell out with or left the club, you always want to do your best against the teams that you've maybe left and prove people wrong or rub people's noses in it, those sorts of things. I'm sure Sauce will be absolutely motivated to do that. Nothing more than that. I don't think him trying a little bit harder will affect his performance, but we certainly know what he can bring to us, and Bolton will know the same.
And again, I'm back to your playing days, really. How different a place is Edgeley Park at night than playing during the day?
I think all football stadiums are different in terms of atmosphere of a night and of an evening. Whether that's because people have been to work all day and turned up after work and all those sorts of things. I think there's always special nights under lights. It just does have a different feel to it. I can't really put my finger on why, really. Hopefully it's like I say, it's a special night for us. I'm not overly fussed. I quite like special Saturday afternoons, to be honest. It's always a bit dark now, the way the weather is in terms of the clocks and things. So they always end up special nights. Hopefully, like I say, Wednesday's special, and we've got a win and can look forward to the next round when that comes about.
Just one last one for me, with it being a sellout and everything. I'm trying to wrap my brains in. What was the biggest crowd you played in front of at Edgeley Park?
Oh, now you're asking. I've no idea. I would suggest at the time, there were some big games. There were Man City were at the level that we were at. I remember Man City came. I imagine it would have been not far off a sellout when we played City. Probably the night, maybe, I think, did John Ardiker get a couple of goals or got a goal?
Yeah,
You're testing my memory here. You are testing. I can't even remember how many years ago. A lot of years, 20 years ago. So I imagine
remember what year it was.
That would have been close to a sellout, I'd imagine. Man City, certainly. I think that was the year that they won the league. So.
Yeah, I can't remember how many years ago it was. I remember the game because I also remember not even bothering to hang around to see John Ardiker's second goal go in, even though it was about a yard and a half out.
Yeah, that was a good game, a good game, and a good result for us in not a great season. But something, like I say, something we can hang on to. Like I say, I think City potentially won the league and got promoted, but we beat them on that night, which was good for us.
That's brilliant. Cheers, Dave. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Gary. Thank you.
Thanks, Gary. Amos?
Afternoon, Dave. Just wanted to ask sort of an off-the-field question to start off with. You spoke about one of your decisions to come back to Stockport County was returning to the Northwest. What's the thing you've enjoyed the most since coming back to the Northwest?
A short drive into work's great. Listen, I think the thing with football, it's all encompassing. So even for me to be at home every night and spend time with family and friends and be able to, I suppose, just relax a little bit and take your mind off things is huge. It allows you to, I suppose, have a real focus when you're in the training ground and we're in the building to concentrate on the important bits. It's part of the world that, like I say, I've lived here for my whole life. So to be back here permanently has been brilliant.
Yeah, fantastic. Back onto the pitch. Just wondering how you personally approach games like this. You've obviously had some massive games at Edgeley Park in the opposite dugout. Are you a sort of person, sort of manager who lets the pressure in, lets the tension in, and you sort of thrive off that, or are you very much happy to block it all out?
I think you have to play things how you see them. I think we're involved in the game, and the players have been involved in games that are big games, significant games with big importance. Everyone's different in terms of how they manage things, how they cope with things. Things will be exactly the same for us in terms of how we go about it, in terms of the lead up to it, little bit different for me in terms of press and all things like that. But from a player's perspective, it's another game. It's another game that poses more difficult challenges than potentially what we come up against week on week. But the players don't need telling what an opportunity this is and what a chance to play in front of, like you say, a sellout at Edgeley Park. Most of them, if not all of them, will have never done it before. So what a great game to be involved in.
Yeah, and finally, just a question on expectations, which you've touched on throughout the afternoon, but you've had a pretty sensational start, I suppose, up until 89 minutes on Saturday. It was almost a perfect start as county manager, but you know the realities of this league, and you know how tough it's to get out of. Just one automatic promotion place is so difficult to get out of the league. Are you managing expectations to a point where you know there's going to be bumps? You know it's not going to always be, FA Cup round one ties against League One clubs. There are going to be some tough periods in the season. And have you had any conversations with the players about how you go about that?
No, I think for us, and for me coming in, it's about processes you put in place that I think give us the best chance of being successful. And success is still going to be measured on what it was at the start of the season. That's trying to get out of the league we're in, and giving ourselves the best chance to do that. Over this league over time tells you that it's not always the best teams that get promoted. It's the most consistent teams, and anyone can beat anybody, and you are going to lose games. How you react to them losses is sometimes important. So bouncing back and making sure you win the next one, or putting a run together where you can go 10, 15 games unbeaten and really putting an extended run together. But it's how you get to that point and the things you put in place by what we expect from the players training every day. We've got to, like I say, there are lots of variables. You have to try and minimise them as best as possible by controlling what you can control. So there'll be times when we don't play well this season. And on them occasions, what we've got to try and do is get something. And if you can't win the game, make sure you don't lose the game. When you do play well, make sure you win. We didn't do that Saturday. Again, that's something that happens in football. We hope we don't get into a situation where that becomes a regular occurrence. Because if we can produce what we did on Saturday, then we're going to be a match for any team in this league. And that's the point we need to get a consistency where we're producing that week in, week out. And if we do that, we'll be absolutely fine.
Fantastic. Cheers, guys. Good luck on Wednesday.
Thank you.